I believe that Lex Luthor could triumph in a dark twist for Superman and Lois Season 4, though perhaps not in the way you might anticipate, even if he seems increasingly insane in every episode. Without the distractions of the larger DCU, Superman and Lois has been a fantastic examination of the later years of a grown-up Superman and his attempts to raise his family away from the bustle and commotion of Metropolis. But since Clark and the other Kents moved back to Smallville, their lives have only seemed to become more complicated. With Lex Luthor lurking terrifyingly behind every corner in Season 4, it appears that the show is headed toward a grim ending that will take some extremely dramatic turns. Even though Clark has previously died, been raised from the dead, and engaged in a vicious fistfight with Luthor, it appears like Luthor has a surprise in store that might put a stop to the whole thing if, like me, you have been completely engrossed in Superman and Lois's last season. It could be worthwhile to investigate what Lex Luthor might be preparing for the series finale. In Episode 6 of Season 4 of Superman and Lois, Clark and Lex fight in the streets of Smallville. Even when Luthor triggers a succession of red sun lights to weaken Superman, and Clark is weakened by his containment of his father-in-law General Lane's heart, Clark still defeats the frightful criminal who has nothing left to lose. However, even while Lex was being beaten, he made fun of Clark and made him feel like a monster for lowering himself to his level. In actuality, I believe Luthor desires precisely that. A vicious and cunning adversary, Luthor has developed a complete obsession with upending the lives of Lois Lane and Clark Kent. It seems as though Luthor is attempting to pull Superman down to his level, no matter the cost, now that he is aware of his secret identity. Even though he was unable to kill him, Luthor appears to have a greater desire than anything else in his life to ruin Superman's image and emblem. The problem is that Luthor has become the most unpredictable and terrifying version of himself as a result of this preoccupation. Even if it meant mending his relationship with his daughter and having a chance to get to know her son, he couldn't get his mind off his retaliation. Despite his enormous fortune and opulent houses where he could enjoy the better things in life, he eventually settled into a small, gloomy room in Smallville out of desperation. To stay near Lois and Clark, he is even attempting to waste his money by giving the people of Smallville completely absurd figures. Therefore, aside from the devastation of Lois's reputation and Superman's status as a hero, it no longer seems like Luthor is acting in his own best interests. He is prepared and willing to sacrifice his family, finances, comfort, and all other material possessions in order to pursue this irrational goal, and it appears that he might even be prepared to sacrifice his life in the process. And he might win, given the harm he has already caused. The idea that Luthor would go to this far and sacrifice himself in order to win might be a stretch, but it would truly be a climax for the television series, which began as a sideline and is currently the final non-DCU program. Their portrayal of Luthor seems to be the most vicious and hideous ever seen, and Superman and Lois has developed into one of the most amazing and captivating live-action Superman storylines. Now that the show is prepared to perform its swan song, it makes sense for them to be as dramatic, dark, and intense as they can. In the end, it appears that Luthor will do anything it takes to achieve his goals, which is a striking contrast if Superman keeps up his principles of justice, kindness, truth, and light. It appears that Luthor is not holding anything back in Superman and Lois's last appearance, but Superman can still win by demonstrating kindness even if he tries to push Clark's hand.